Welcome back for another video. As the GW23 deadline looms, let's have a look at the experts team this week, along with their transfer plans and crucially captaincy. There's quite a few surprises in the data this week, let's get into it. If you'd like to use this series to guide you through the season with data from top managers, make sure you're subscribed. Honourable mention to Fantasy Football Scout for their ongoing support of the channel as well. Use the link below to become a member and benefit from the endless tools they've got available. Starting with the manager highlight, and we've got 10 experts in the top 10k now, and a bunch just a matter of points outside. James Cresswell sits at 2.8k overall, at the top of the league after scoring 64 last game week. Did you manage to beat the experts average of 60? Jerome got the top score of 83 points himself, which has taken him up to 25k. So in terms of experts transfer activity, 23% have rolled on this week, 59% have made one transfer, 17% have made two, and minor managers made three for a -4 hit. Before I forget as well, I also thank the experts again. They were only sent the questions yesterday for Gameweek23 and almost 100 replied within a day. So thanks for the commitment to them, and I'm enjoying this sense of community that's come from this series. It's invaluable data that we get to benefit from. So let's have a look at who their top transfers in and out are. Comfortably top this week is Haaland, who's been picked up by a whopping 61%. 32% have sold Alvarez, 12% have sold Archer. So what's the latest on Haaland? We've had the benefit of Pep's press conference this afternoon, and when asked about Haaland he said yep, he's available, and then he paused and said everybody's fit, everybody's ready. So I promised an update, though to play devil's advocate Pep did say the same about De Bruyne before the Newcastle game, said he was ready to start and he was benched. Another key piece of news today though is that Darwin's a doubt for the Arsenal game. After 20 minutes last match someone stepped on his foot and he left the stadium in a boot, Klopp said. Nothing broken, but remains to be seen if he can play. Could be an easier transfer. There's some other dilemmas many of us are faced with, like Watkins, Solanke or Alvarez to Haaland. The experts have decided that Alvarez is the one to go for the most part. 5% are selling Solanke, none are selling Watkins. 8% are picking Gordon up this week. Newcastle got a tidy run of fixtures ahead, starting with Luton home, then Forest, then Bournemouth, Arsenal and Wolves. Isak is a major injury doubt after going off last match. The latest from the press conference is that he has improved, but he's going to be assessed ahead of the game. Realistically, although Gordon's likely to play a striker without Isak, it might be better if Isak does play for his off-the-ball movement and link-up play. A further 7% are selling Salah, and spoilers, he's left the experts team now. Will no doubt be a very popular transfer back in if Liverpool's double Gameweek 25 drops in. Klopp said he's going to miss Gameweek 22 and 23, which points towards a potential return in Gameweek 24. He was spotted running on grass, but that's all it was. We've not had any photos of him in full training. No sales for Estupiñán at this point after his 0-pointer. If anything, he's still an excellent transfer in, ahead of a home fixture against Palace. Hodgson's confirmed Eze and Elise are both doubts, and a late decision will be made on their involvement. 3% are transferring Edison in this week. After Walker's benching, he looks the safest route into City's defence. There's no doubt going to be a defender or two that plays both games in double Gameweek 25, but it's difficult to pin which one, perhaps Ruben Diaz. Though we know what a frustrating pick Edison can be, and he's 5.5 mil, so not cheap. No transfers in for Tony ahead of his Man City fixture, despite the double-digit haul last week. He scored a brace against City last season actually, but for now he's certainly on a lot of watch lists as a potential transfer for double Gameweek 25, with the added benefit of no blank in 26 or 29, which are both weeks that we desperately need everyone we can get if we're not using a chip. So let's move on to captaincy, which is a hot topic this week. Are the Haaland buyers backing him? It's another split week on captaincy with 8 different captains, and it is Haaland top with 39%, then Watkins 27%, De Bruyne and Palmer tied with 9%. Further down, Gordon, Alvarez and Solanke captained by 5 managers each, and one absolute joker's put Walker captain. I need to find out who that is and have a word. There's certainly a big opportunity with Haaland that comes with a great risk. Many are still uncertain on the start, hence it's such a big spread of captaincy. If he does go on to start, there's massive upside there, and we won't ordinarily get that with Haaland. The safer pick is Watkins, who is away to Sheffield United. Pulling up the goal scorer odds, Haaland is top with a 53% chance of scoring any time. The only player here with odds that are likely to score than not to, though the odds are based on the player starting. Watkins has been given a 41.5% chance, Solanke close behind, Alvarez 34.5%. Looking at FPL review projections, it's unbelievably close this week, which tallies up with the list of names we've got this week. Solanke and Watkins have both been projected 5.9 points, which is top. Bruno Rashford fractionally behind. With 70 estimated minutes for Haaland, he's on 5.4, so all of 0.5 points behind the top spot, which is practically noise. That is assuming he gets 70 minutes of course. Palmer and Trippier right up there as well. With the biggest spread we've had all season, there is a chance to go with your gut this week. The downside isn't as big if you get it wrong at least. Whereas in Gameweek 24, City are home to Everton, and you know Haaland's going to be a heavy favourite. We'll see though, make sure you subscribe for next week's video. Let's move on to the experts team, and there has been a change. In goal, the Dubravka comes off the bench. In defence is Stupinan, Pedro Porro and Trem. The midfield is Foden, Palmer, Gordon and Richarlison. Watkins, Solanke and Haaland are the front three, Haaland captain. Alvarez leaves the team and Haaland joins. It does look a very well set up team this week, though a massive bench and dilemma with Areola, Saka, Gabriel and Taylor on the bench. If you're in a similar position, let us know, you benching Saka, and if not, who are you dropping out? There might even be some benches out there good enough to bench boost, but if you've got an Arsenal defender then it's probably best saved. Still no ETA on Taylor's return, who is slowly bleeding ownership in the experts team. We know that Burnley don't blank in 26 or 29, which will make him a useful asset if he's back in time. De Bruyne only 19% owned among the experts last week. It's going to be very interesting to see how much that climbs, as many are keeping the door open for Salah if Liverpool get the double game week 25. A quick refresher on the key game weeks that are coming up for us. Double game week 25, where Brentford and City are confirmed to double. Assets to consider there are Tony, Edison, Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland, Alvarez and Bernardo. Liverpool have also been predicted to double in 25 because if they reach the final of all the cups they're in, then there's no midweeks to move postponements to, and they'd end up with a triple game week later in the season, which they want to avoid. It'd be great for us obviously. Game week 26 is a blank for Chelsea, Liverpool, Luton and Spurs. Be careful and plan accordingly. You don't want to get to game week 26 and you've got 8 players. Game week 29 blanks are going to be decided by the next FA Cup round at the end of February. The graphics from FPL Spaceman, who is a member of this series. There's only 4.81 fixtures projected, so a huge blank game week, biggest of the season. He's also included the percentage likelihood of all the blanks. The likes of Brighton, City and Liverpool almost certainly blank that week. Fulham, Spurs, Burnley and Brentford the only teams definitely playing that week currently. Moving on to the experts tips for Game Week 23, and here's what they had to say. Turtle11 says, 2 free transfers are going to be golden for a possible double game week. Haaland needs to come in, but is this the right week? FPL Fish has sold Alvarez for Haaland, and he says, it never feels good to sell a player after a brace, but the time feels right to bring Haaland back. Andrew Debenham says, bringing in Haaland simply because of inevitable FOMO come Monday. However, my captaincy will be on Anthony Gordon. They say Gordon's a monster at home, so I can't resist the best chance to captain a monster. With Isak out, I'm hoping the sweet combination of minutes, form and the fixture will be great differential. Thorfinn says, don't even care if Haaland's fully fit or not, I want to get rid of Mr. Crossbar Challenge. Sean Coe says, decided to sell Salah for Jota this week. I've been holding Salah in the hope that he comes back in time for double game week 25. However, even if he's fit in time, I feel he may not be thrown straight into the 11, given how well Diaz, Jota and Nunez are playing at the moment. FPL John says, it's clear all of us experts and everyone watching at home absolutely love this game. Sometimes we can get swept up in its highs and lows. However, please always remember that nobody deserves hate for the way they choose to play or the way they choose to share their FPL experience. Toxicity towards your mini-league opponents, content creators and even the players on the pitch isn't acceptable. Let's celebrate our passions and be kind. Have a great game week. Carl Smith says, never mind, we won't do that one. A Manpal Man says, I hope Walker starts. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed the content. We'll be live for the deadline on Saturday. See you then.